Right. Hey. So, after reading it, I think the sentences and ideas that you have, I think, flow pretty well throughout the entire read. As far as the thesis, I think I got your perspective on the thesis, like idea, but as far as like the main points that might go inside of your thesis to represent as to like why he's overcome or persevered, which is what I think you were trying to take a stance on in the thesis. Your like perspective is he's really overcome these challenges to become who he is. I think if you had the main points as to like why, or like a brief summary, or like brief reasons or how, that might further illustrate the perspective to then lead into the paragraphs and have it structured slightly better. I think the structure as far as reading is really well done. I think like the story you've told it in like a well concise like chronological. It felt like I was really reading a story of his life legitimately, and I think that also might be a drawback at the same time. It felt almost like a biography in a way, where I felt like a lot of the paragraphs didn't have a perspective stance as much as it was just like his life being laid out in like a almost a timeline. It was just written out. Where you might want to try and have a little more perspective on like how that event made him persevere, or how you view his perseverance in that certain event of what he's done, or how you view it specifically. Um, other than that, I think it flows very well. I think that the grammar is seamless. It's really easy to read. I mean, as far as like the rubric, which I kind of went over when I was reading to see if it covered the points to try and give you a good idea of where it's sitting. Um, I think like the audience awareness is good. I think relating perseverance and like overcoming challenge and success and everything, his journey in life, is good in terms of knowing what the audience and how to relate to them. Um, the thesis I've covered is to it does take a stance, and I think that I see where it is, um, but maybe having more main points and then holding those main points as topics in the paragraphs, because the way you structured all the paragraphs, like different sections of his life, I think flows very well, but also makes it a little odd in terms of how the essay is necessarily structured. But as you're going, obviously it's a rough draft. I'm not quite sure what the final goal is, but what I'm reading right now, um, I think, yeah, and then a little more personal emphasis in the development would really help out to illustrate your perspective on the events and things. But yeah, and then the structure is great. So overall, I think the reading it's really well done. Obviously, I mean you're a great writer. It's I think it's just the difficulty in laying out this timeline and information about his life, and also inserting your perspective on how these things like support your thesis, because they do support your thesis, but I think having your opinion within it, stating why or how, or that reason, would really improve a lot of the area, and really help the structure and development of the essay going forward. But overall, really good. I mean, I think it's really good, and I can't wait to read the final version of it. So thank you.